These are a bunch of students who have gone completely crazy under the influence. And although what they are consuming in order to have all sorts of pleasurable fun is very shady, it's the perfect product to use for our main character's call girl business. The first step in taking down the Japanese Yakuza. But why? Well, that's the story to Criminal Border. Thanks to Shirobune for providing me a review copy and for showing me how this otaku shut-in loser is forced to topple the underworld through his digital drug. Criminal Border, or Liminal Border if you're on Steam, is a series about Itsuki, a normal gloomy otaku boy who somehow accidentally creates a digital hypnotism video that arouses people's sexual desires. The first step in which everything decides to go horribly wrong for him. In one dubious, questionable act, Itsuki decides to show his video to his estranged childhood friend Rin, and he succeeds. He then stumbles upon Rin's hidden side behind her honor student girl image, a cunning opportunist with a call girl business. Rin enlists him and decides to use his video to get more money from her customers. However, Itsuki would have never imagined that he would end up running face to face with the Yakuza. Criminal Border has a strong premise, but it's not immediate at the start. This is a series of visual novels where with each installment, the stakes gets higher and higher, and our main character Itsuki is forced to adapt and change himself. It seems the author, Kazuki Fumi, took his experience writing the 9 series and made Criminal Border a pretty damn engaging story, one where I couldn't wait to read the next volume as soon as I finished one. Watching this shy, nervous shut-in turn into a man standing on the front lines in negotiations was very rewarding. The last scene of episode 3 is his Walter White into Heisenberg moment, and it's so damn good. And the best part of it all, it's not out of sheer pride and greed, but rather to protect his newfound family. But to first understand how we got to that point, we have to start at the very beginning. Now, each installment is dedicated to a focused heroine, and the first volume / first offense focuses on Hina, just an average ordinary classmate, but is actually Rin's co-conspirator in her call girl business, serving as the public face. She's a very sociable and likable person. Her attempts at warming up Itsuki was super endearing. Really, I think any woman who offers to style you up and cut your hair is a special one, and considering this is an eroge, it shouldn't be surprised what happens next. However, just as important is her brother Tatsuya, someone who definitely has broken someone's bones. Tatsuya is a delinquent through and through, especially as the leader of his drug handling gang. Someone very skeptical of Itsuki at first, and then the two of them eventually have the bestest bro relationship in here, because of Hina. Both of the siblings engage in some rather sketchy, dubious business. But as Itsuki gets to know them more intimately, peddling drugs and basically running a prostitution business is frankly the only way out of their hellhole. And for Itsuki, that's perfectly fine. These two unlikely individuals gave him a place to belong, and he's willing to return the favor too. I like how Criminal Border positions itself. It sets up our cast as struggling outcasts with very understandable motivations. And no matter how bad things get, they have each other for emotional support. Practically family. Sure, getting in with the wrong crowd is generally a bad thing, but you can't deny it changed Itsuki, arguably for the better. But what happens when they might have overstepped their boundaries? Volume 2 is where things really kick into high gear, when the daughter of the head Yakuza boss might have been sent to spy on the team. The Yakuza are grizzled and dangerous, but our cast isn't gonna back down, carefully executing their plans with a couple of sneaky maneuvering and negotiations. After all, it is the sweaty rich men that's in their pockets and not the Yakuza's. Now, I noticed this very quickly, that there's like no downtime at all in this story. The pacing is really solid. All events are dedicated to progressing our main character's plans while trying to figure out how to counter the Yakuza's actions. They can barely afford the time to breathe because any time lost puts them on the back foot. It also helps set our cast up as major underdogs, and the story had me rallying behind them with every new breakthrough they get. But it also forces our characters to make some hard decisions. Kotoko is our focus heroine in Second Offense, and she has this air of proud refinedness from being a Yakuza's daughter. She holds this idea of the Yakuza being honorable and respectable, to which, yeah. she's a greenhorn to them gangster activities. She really doesn't understand the actual business dealings that surround her, and yet she's still the head Yakuza's little princess. So it's up to Itsuki to figure out how to exactly deal with her, utilize her and manipulate her, or fully bring her over to their side. I like how Itsuki puts some real thought and intent into it, even getting a bit crafty and calculated. He starts to slowly shred that naive attitude he had before because their situation isn't getting any better. Meanwhile, Kotoko has to confront the real truth of her circumstances and reconsider her current convictions. The story shows them processing their feelings and acknowledging their weaknesses, and growing up. It's a volume that shows a change in mentality. But what happens when the stakes rise higher and higher to eventually reach the point of no return? Third Offense is that installment. The shit just hit the fan moment. Everything in Third Offense gradually builds up to this point, becoming much darker than you would expect. This is the point in the story where serious consequences happen. The story does an incredibly bold move, one that caught me off guard, fully jaw-dropped and said, wow, they really did that. What happens in this volume is the breaking point for Itsuki, for him to reach a point of no hesitation to do what needs to be done in order to protect the people close to him. His actions before might have been skirting the line, but now it's him fully embracing it, as he tags alongside the cute small girl next to him and her debt collecting duties and casual murder cleanup scenes.
まだ少し。何でもいいから食べ物適当に買っておいて。
Meryl's been this mysterious character in the prior volumes, mostly acting as an aide to Kotoko. However, it's through her that we get to see what the Yakuza's been doing behind the scenes, and how she's been drastically affected by that life of crime around her. You would have never expected this from the premise of kid creates digital hypnotism drug that causes intense horniness. But things get pretty extreme in here, to where you question if these characters can even go back to living a normal life. Every one of the cast has their own troubled situations, and in a strange way, they all bonded together because of their collective goal. It's why whenever something very serious happens to one of them, they and I take it very harshly. And yet, that's also the motivation for them crossing into now more dangerous and illegal activities, to become so powerful that no one will hurt them ever again and achieve freedom. And now, next will be the spoiler section of this video, as this will cover my thoughts about Criminal Border Life Sentence, the ending of the entire series, given knowledge of everything prior. Skip to this section right here for my closing remarks for the series as a whole. This is your final warning, because while I was very excited for the ultimate conclusion of the series, what I read instead, well, ended fine, betrayed my expectations. Let me rephrase. Criminal Border Life Sentence is not outright terrible. In hindsight, this was probably the way things would have ended up logically, but I certainly didn't enjoy it. With Criminal Border constantly building itself up, raising the stakes, now with Hina very boldly leaving the story, I fully expected the cast to double down on their convictions and risk-taking in order to come out on top, them devising some clever plan to outwit the Yakuza and the Syndicate. They achieved their goal, yes, but it's not satisfying. Emotionally, there's no climax. It just happens, and then the story has a few final moments before it ends. I don't mind bittersweet endings like this, but to me, Criminal Border was not the series for it. And given how harsh Itsuki and the cast have to endure throughout Life Sentence, I fully think they deserved a better ending. Again, they were able to do everything that they needed to do, but as a reader, I did not earn back my cathartic enjoyment in the end, especially after seeing them suffer. If there's one highlight I did want to point out, it's Rin, the last focus character. Here, we actually get to see her POV and her eternal emotions regarding her guilt for basically sending our cast down this road of hell. So it's nice for her to grow and see her commit to the same level of dedication and conviction to do what needs to be done. I do think that Criminal Border is a good series all throughout the volumes. I've seen both their victories and struggles. Their character arcs are pretty fantastic to watch. I found the ending to be emotionally lacking, but despite that, the ride was still very much enjoyable. If you're interested in another title like this one, you definitely want to check out this video over here, or click this one for a wide variety of visual novel recommendations. I would also like to thank everyone on Patreon for supporting me in covering visual novels. You guys are fantastic, and if you'd like to be a part of that effort, please consider subscribing. That said, if there's one thing I wish there was, it's Yakuza fights. Would have loved to see Tatsuya bash someone's head in.